Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to look at The Hands of the Dragon, another, well, I was almost going to say another fine publication, but this isn't very fine. Another comic from Atlas Seaboard Comics. The little mouse that roared and then keeled over and died. This is not one of the better Atlas comics. It's pretty lower tier, and a lot of that has to do with it's just the writer is some unknown guy. Never seen him before or after Atlas, and it has art by Jim Craig. And on top of that, it's inked by Jim Mooney. So it's some really ugly art. And if you guys remember Jim Craig, we've seen him before. I believe it was number 4 of Wolf the Barbarian, which was one of the first videos we did like 2 years ago. Another Atlas Seaboard comic. And this is much worse than that, if you could imagine. He does the cover here. The cover's not so bad. It's a pretty good, 70s Marvel type cover. Kind of dynamic, kind of cool looking. Even though I'm not sure about the anatomy of this leg. Seems to be going on a little too long. But then again, I'm not an artist. But I don't know. It's way better than the interiors. Obviously, as you could tell, this was Atlas Seaboard. They try to put their finger in every pie. Any genre that Marvel had, they tried to duplicate. So this was their Kung Fu title. At the time, Marvel had a lot of success with Master of Kung Fu and Iron Fist. So this is almost like a combo of the two. And we start off, here's the credit box. Ed Fedori, that's the script. That's the writer I was talking about. Never heard of this guy. I think he might have did another Atlas comic. I'm not sure. Jim Mooney's inks go uncredited. I only know about this because of the comic book, Grand Comic Book Database, and Jim Craig pencils. And this is a Larry Lieber editor. That's probably why it's so crappy. Jeff Rovin did all the good ones, and Larry Lieber did all the crappy ones. So we start off with a splash page that kind of foreshadows what's going to come. Some of this writing is really weird. His ornate finger pulls the trigger of his automatic, causing it to spit death in the shape of tiny lead demons, which narrowly miss the churning muscles of the dragon. I don't know, that's a weird metaphor. Or is that a simile? No, a metaphor. The bullets are demons, little demons. So we start off, it's World War II, near the end of World War II. We're in Japan, and we see this old Chinese guy. I guess he's been living in Japan. And he's got his 2 grandchildren and a little backpack papoose. And he's trying to get to the sea so he can take a boat, get back to China, where he was happy. He's sick of this war. He's lost his son and his daughter-in-law, the parents of these 2. They've been killed due to the war. So they're walking by Mount Fuji. And this is strange because I don't think this happened in World War II. But we see at the top of Mount Fuji, there's a giant United States, I guess an atomic bomb. I'm pretty sure that's what it's supposed to be. They're caught in the explosion, or at least they're near it. And one of the children is scarred by the blast. He's got burns. So he says, I must get to the monastery. The monks there will have, secret potions and they'll help him. So he crosses the sea. And strangely enough, all of a sudden he feels, his muscles feel flexible and youthful. And he's filled with this strength. And even though he's, crossing the sea, walking through the Himalayas, trying to get to this monastery, he's fine. He's walking, he should have pneumonia. He's just wearing these, this light clothing. And the babies are fine too. So something about this atomic blast has given them some kind of extra not supernatural, but superhuman power. So much clunky writing in here. And I haven't even mentioned it, but you can see for yourself. This art is terrible. It's the kind of art where you're just like, I don't even want to read this comic. Even if this was well written, I wouldn't want to read it. So it's that old comic trope that radiation will give you superpowers instead of giving you a horrible, lingering death. So he's attacked by a polar bear. And with his newfound strength, he actually rips the polar bear's jaw open and then punches him and kills him. So now we're at the monastery. We see the master of the monastery. And this one of his acolytes pounds on the door, says, there's a man at the gate. He wants to see you. And he's like, how dare you interrupt my meditations? It seems like he's had fucking years to meditate. How many people come to visit this monastery? You'd think he'd be like, wow, a visitor, that's special. So the young acolyte says, here, he told me to give you this. It's a medallion. And it brings back boyhood memories. And all of a sudden his demeanor changes. He's smiling. He says, Te Chang. And he goes to greet. It turns out it's his, childhood friend. He says, I never thought you would return. So, I guess the burns of the one baby, they can't do anything about. He's scarred for life. We have a little diatribe by, God damn it, I already forgot his name. Man, I hate this brain of mine. Te Chang curses war. He says, I curse the old soldiers who send the young to be butchered. But the master says, forget the past, you're at peace now. So years go by. The two grandchildren grow up. Of course, the uglier, scarred one is evil. And he's sadistic whenever he's doing, bouts, practicing his martial arts. He always really hurts the other people. At one point, looks like he's gonna really hurt this guy. So his brother stops him. And they start fighting. And it looks like the scarred brother, he's out for blood. He's trying to kill his brother, who is, by the way, is already known as Dragon. They didn't tell us how he earned the name, but he's Dragon. I think the other one is Cobra, the bad one. I don't know if I forgot, but I don't think they ever give us their real names. Oh, no, they do. The evil one is named Ling. And I'll tell you the name of the other one when I see it. So Ling is out for blood. And, of course, Dragon is just like, would you kill your brother? And Ling honestly says 1,000 times. So we see this really crappy montage of them fighting. This is so... it's fucking ponderous. It's terrible. And then Dragon seems to have won the bout. As he walks away, Ling reaches for the spear and throws it at Dragon. The grandfather runs in between the spear and his grandson and dies in the effort. Ling runs away and Dragon vows to kill him. So there's still a little life in the grandfather. He's slowly dying. Well, I guess quickly dying. And he says, Grandfather, I will slay him with my own hands. And he urges him not to give in to hate. Let an old man die, knowing his room is free of hatred. And he slips off this mortal coil. Dragon moves to California. And He builds a new life for himself, even though he still practices his old ways. He becomes a journalist, and actually, he figures he'll have contacts so he can track down his brother. And I forgot to mention, there's this guy we haven't seen yet named Dr. New. And Dr. New's kind of been grooming Ling. He's an older evil guy. He's got this hot coworker who just sits cross-legged on tables at work. So she shows him some photos she took of the Prime Minister getting off the ship, the Prime Minister of Japan, sorry. And Ling looks at the photo, Dragon, and he sees the tattooed hand of Dr. New. He also sees a guy, you can't really see his face, but you can see scars. And he knows it's Ling the Cobra, his brother. So the Prime Minister is going to speak at the university tonight. And he's going to meet with the president tomorrow. I guess he wants to form an international police force. So Dragon knows that they'll strike tonight at this lecture. I gotta say, kind of like his mask. His mask is pretty cool. I wonder if, it doesn't really look like Grifter. Grifter has a totally different mask, but it kind of reminds me of Grifter from the Wildcats. So he breaks into the university. I don't know why he just doesn't go in with all the audience members. And he sees the Prime Minister come out. Prime Minister starts doing a speech about an international police force. And then this is a weird scene, guys. Only in this, mid-70s. A guy in the crowd says, "Blow it out your ear, man. Why don't you say something about killing whales? Your country is trying to wipe out an entire species. We don't need whale oil. Why don't you stick to transistor radios and soy sauce? Leave the whales alone." So he's this racist hippie. He's got like a kind of variant of a smiley face t-shirt, but it's got like Asian eyes and it's sticking out its tongue. So this guy keeps yelling. And then he says, "Who do you think you are, some Oriental Captain Ahab?" And everyone's telling them to sit down. They're like, "Sit down, you hippie. You disgusting hippie." Very odd. If you youngins don't know, that was a big thing where, a lot of countries agreed not to kill whales anymore, but Japan refused. So they were kind of pariahs. People were mad at them. I don't know if that's still going on. I haven't heard about it in decades. So all of a sudden he sees Dr. New reaching for a gun under his robes, and Dragon springs into action. Dr. New takes off his jacket and his fake mask and fires at Dragon, but misses. Dr. New kind of looks kind of cool, but then I get his tattoos almost look like, kind of hippie tattoos, like decals you would get of like flowers and things. You might see on some hippie's van or something. So it's kind of weird. The Prime Minister is like, "Wait, don't leave. I haven't finished my speech." And of course everyone's running because somebody just fired a gun in the auditorium. But he's like, "No, you have to listen to the rest of my speech. Come on." It just doesn't make any sense. Like, obviously just bad writing and bad editing, because Larry Lieber should have caught that. So all of a sudden Ling pops up and Ling finishes the job. He kills the Prime Minister. Well, I'm sorry, severely wounds him. And then Ling takes off. Dr. New says, "You'll never catch him, Dragon. He's too wise and cunning for you." And then, unfortunately, the Prime Minister's security detail, they don't know what the hell's going on. So after Ling beats up a few of them to escape, the rest of them think that maybe Dragon is part of this. They don't know who the Dragon is. And they grab him, and one of them shoots him in the back. But remember, he's kind of superhuman, so he's not out. He's not out of the game yet. Though he's not that superhuman. He's pretty fucked up from it. So he evades these security guys. And when he gets to checks out the stage, that same racist hippie, I guess he's a med student and is helping to save the prime minister's life. He's telling him to call an ambulance. He's asking for blankets, like he knows what to do. He knows that you can't move him yet because there's a bunch of bullets lodged in him. So Dragon is outside. He's thinking to himself, I can't help him until they remove those bullets. I'll get to the hospital, wait till the operation's over. So it looks like he's probably going to pull through, thanks to this racist hippie. He's in a coma, though. So it's kind of 50-50, but it's better than dying on the stage there. And so he makes it to the prime minister's room, and he takes his medallion off, and I guess it's a little flask, and he gives what's in it, this medicine, to the prime minister. And it totally seems to work. It's some secret herbs from the Hidden Valley Ranch. And he says, be quiet, you're safe, and he leaves. The doctor hears the prime minister moaning. He runs in, he says, this is miraculous. The whole time, the prime minister is mumbling. He's delirious. He's like, a man with a dragon. And, of course, the doctor just thinks he's hallucinating. The dragon still has a bullet in his body, but he leaves for the university. And Doctor Who has vanished. Ling has escaped. And basically he says, where will they strike again? I must find and stop them. Next issue, Dragon Kill. But that will never come to pass. There will be no Dragon Kill. This was the one and only issue of Hands of the Dragon. And I almost said unfortunately, but it's probably a good thing. Because this is a turd in a punch bowl, this comic. It's really bad. I think this is later on. This is June 75. So this is getting pretty close to the end of Atlas Seaboard's run. And, I think Jeff Rovin had already left. A lot of the good writers and artists left. And all that Larry Lieber was left with were the dregs. And they made this comic, those dregs. So that's Hands of the Dragon #1, everyone. My goal is to own every Atlas comic. I still need just 2. By the way, if any generous viewer wants to send me, I think I need Police Action #1, and I think Western Action #1. Those are the only 2 Atlas comics I need. And some of these are terrible, but I just want to own every Atlas comic. There's something about this company. It has an allure to me. I'm fascinated by them. I can't even believe they existed. It's hard to believe these comics are real. But, you got to take the good with the bad. I've reviewed a lot of great Atlas comics on this channel, but every now and then I'm going to have to review some of these turds. And that's what happened today. So I don't know. There you go. Probably not a very good episode because I'm just looking at a shitty comic, which usually almost always I like the comics I look at. But if it wasn't an Atlas Seaboard comic, this would be kicked to the curb. This would be kicked out of the Academy so fast your head would spin. And but I got to hold on to it because it's an Atlas comic. It's got that little logo that I love so much. I want to get this tattooed on my forehead. And I guess that's it, guys. I'll stop rambling. Though I did want to say, since this is a short episode, I don't have commercials on this channel. I don't even ask you to like me or subscribe like all those channels do. But I would like you to consider, in the comments section, I do have a link to a comic I used to write, and Chris Cajero Cilla, the brilliant cartoonist, drew back in the 90s. So we made a nice collection. It's a nice book. It's got tons of shit in it. I think it's $12. It's one of those print-on-demand things. So if you want to support the channel, just this week, I went to a bunch of comic sales. And I love going to comic sales, of course, but I really was just like, I got to buy a bunch of stuff for the channel. I'm running out of certain genres. And, you know, I bought a whole stack of undergrounds, though I still, guys, there's somewhere on the channel, there's a list of all the comic undergrounds I have. And if you have any that I don't have, that's another thing. If you want to support the channel, I really always need more undergrounds. Because even though I bought like 10, half of them are too naughty for YouTube. So I can't show them anyway. I'm glad to own them. But you'll be seeing those, I guess, pretty soon. But it would be great if any of you, kindness of your heart, if you have any doubles or copies you want to get rid of, the list is on, I don't even know where it is on the channel. Somewhere. But the only time I did a message to the viewers and I asked for a donation of any undergrounds that aren't on the list. I should say that again. It's a little confusing. I was just lazy and I had the list of all my undergrounds. So it was just easier to just print those out and then ask you to send me anything you have that's not on that list. So there you go. Atlas Comics, Police Action, Western Action. Send those to me if you want to, if you got a spare copy. A bunch of undergrounds, and maybe check out that book. It's called Swankdabus. The comic was called Swank, and I don't promise I won't do this often, because I don't like hearing spiels when I watch videos either. But I just think I've had it up for 2 years, and I don't think we've sold one copy through the channel, so I'd like to sell a few, and my friend Chris would too. So, okay, I'll shut up. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you next time here at the Herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.